is Mark Jackson and I play Tiny Tim Cratchit in A Christmas Carol.
Okay, interview with Goodwin and Leonie Quinn on set of A Christmas Carol. Action.
You want to start?
What are we meant to be saying? Well, I was approached about a year ago with the script and the very kind offer, so it was a lovely opportunity, and Dickens is a wonderful, wonderful writer and Christmas Carol is very well known, so I felt it was a lovely opportunity. So that's how I became involved. How about you?
Well, I'm Leonie Quinn and playing Scrooge's niece, who doesn't have a name.
Well, I'm Brendan Grace. Or am I Brendan O'Carroll? No, I'm Brendan Grace. I'm better looking than him.
Hi, my name is Jane Elizabeth Walsh. I'm playing Mrs. Cratchit. I was so lucky to get involved with this project. Jason Figgis, the director, came to see me in the show and invited me to come along and be a part of the production. It's been a fantastic shoot today, I think we'll all agree.
Yeah.
So how did you guys get involved?
Well, my name is Catherine and I play Martha. I'm in the Billy Stage School and I auditioned through that. I auditioned a while ago and yeah, I was really lucky as well to get into this. It's been so much fun and I got to meet these people.
That's great, because I'm just amazing.
Hello, it's Brian Murray here. Jacob Marley is the part that I play. That's why I'm all wrapped up in chains today. And I was absolutely delighted to be asked by Jason to do it. I mean, it's one of those parts that so many great actors have done, from Alec Guinness and Michael Hordern all the way through. It was just a great opportunity to do it. I was delighted to do it, and I hope I did it justice. We had a good time doing it, and it's such a great part, though.
I'm Giselle Keenan, and I'm playing Charlotte Maxwell.
I'm Emily Forster and I am playing Polly Maxwell.
I'm Aoife Moore and I play Elizabeth Maxwell.
I'm Ciara Maher and I play Sally Maxwell.
Interview with Neill Fleming.
Howdy.
The reason I got involved in this production was that I'd heard about the Figgis brothers, Jason and Johnny, and they had seen a feature I did with directed by Graham Cantwell, and he had seen it before it even went out in the cinemas or on DVD, and he just gave me a call, told me what he was doing, and I've always wanted to do stuff with him. So, and they said that Lara was going to be in it, and I thought, well, that'd be cool.
That tipped the whole thing.
Yeah, it was a day of fun.
Well, I was first asked to be a ghost, which I got really excited about, and then. And then they came back to me, Jason and Johnny, and said, would you like to play Belle? And I was just got really excited because I never get to play a proper, lady.
I'm playing Bob Cratchit, and it was great to get to play Bob Cratchit because he's so empathetic, and he's just a really honest, nice bloke who's kind and gentle and grateful, which is great. It's a very different part than what I normally get to play, so I was happy about that.
Well, I've worked with October 11 Pictures before, so it was a great pleasure to be asked to come back to work, particularly on a Dickens story. Those who know me will know that I'm a great fan of Dickens. I've been rereading him for many, many years now, read his life story. I found his whole sympathy, his whole story, his sympathy with the poor classes, with the working classes, a major figure of his day, a major figure of the 19th century. And this is a very, probably one of his most popular novels, maybe the most popular, the one with the greatest popular appeal and the greatest sentimental appeal. So it's a great pleasure as a reader of Dickens to be back, to be here playing the part in this wonderful story.
I think we're very lucky to have such a lovely set to work on as this.
Oh yeah, it's
the location is beautiful. And yes, a wonderful cast, so that was another big plus.
Yeah,
And again, great script, very much back to the original, which was a very important part, because literally Christmas Carol has been changed so many times and done in so many different ways. I think it was lovely to sort of try and take a step back to what would have been the original.
Yeah, the actual novel, which is lovely.
Yeah, where it all came from. So hopefully we've done it justice. Yes.
And it was a joy to play the part of Ghost of Christmas Present. First time I ever played a ghost.
I'm so sure I only got the part a week ago because the person who originally had the part went to Australia, but Jason and Carl are in the school, the Habemus School of Performing Arts, and I'm in that, and they auditioned there, so I got the part, and I was like, yay!
And you're playing my daughter too again, right?
Yeah. And then Mrs. Ulton.
And I played Peter Cratchit, and I was in Habemus Performing Arts School. Great place, should go. And, it's great fun, and it's real good.
I got involved in this feature film of A Christmas Carol through Habemus Performing Arts School.
Yeah, me too. Me and Giselle go to the same school, Habemus Performing Arts School, yeah. And I got involved in this movie through the Billy Barry Stage School.
And I think Jason saw me in a play, Curse Starving Class, back in December in the new theatre, and that's how I got involved.
I got speaking to Jason, and he said somebody else wasn't able to do it, and was I able to do it, and this is, 4 or 5 days ago. So I was obviously delighted and said yeah straight away, and did a little dance when I got off the phone.
I really appreciated Dickens, not as an adult. I was in great expectations quite recently, and that caused me to look up Dickens and go back to the Dickens that I thought I knew from my childhood. But of course, as an adult looking at Dickens, it's a totally different thing. It was for me anyway. It's so profound and such a comment on the society of the time, and on the morals of the time and the morals now. I think he's so profound. And I'm saying the obvious here, but you know, the greatest, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, I think.
I mean, I was pretty familiar with A Christmas Carol before the shoot started. It's such a famous tale.
Yeah, there's so many.
I mean,
Muppets and all.
The new movie that just came out with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Did you guys see that?
No, I haven't actually seen that either.
No. I was saying earlier that I saw Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, I've
this
seen
tops
the
all of them.
Scrooge one before. It's like a musical though.
Oh right.
And I saw all the cartoon ones with like Mickey Mouse and all. The original cartoon.
My own part is that of a typical Victorian philanthropist, out trying to do good for the poor, a little bit of Dickens possibly in him as well, and rather shocked, obviously, as anyone else would be, when they come across Mr. Scrooge. But then that's the conflict of Dickens, is the conflict between gentle and decent people and the hardness of heart of Scrooge himself.
Cratchit never really stood out to me. But when I read the script, he really did. So it was easier for me, which is good, because it would drive me nuts if I thought I was imitating somebody else, or having to avoid imitating somebody else as well. Although, I mean, Kermit, I'm fine with imitating Kermit.
Piggy? I feel that the four sisters are very close in the film, and their parents had died, and Elizabeth helps run the family. And that's how I feel their part is in the film. And they owed a lot of money to Scrooge, and they're kind of delighted he's dead, because now they might have to pay back.
Yeah, they'd have to pay the money back.
Yeah.
Well, not for now. I know in this scene that we all feel very nervous because, well, the three younger sisters, because we're waiting the arrival of our older sister to hear the news and see, are we in more trouble, or are things going well for us?
Ebenezer, tell me about yourself.
The Ebenezer Scrooge is probably about the same age as I am now. Was like a clerk, living in a very restrictive society. And from my understanding of it, he was in love with Belle. But somewhere along the line, which can happen a lot in life, he lost he lost his focus. His focus became about money and not about love.
It's funny, when I saw the part first, it looked to me like Shakespeare. And see, I really don't know the difference between Shakespeare and Dickens. In actual fact, I don't like Dickens. I never liked him.
When I was kind of between 9 and 13, my family lived in Donegal, and my father's a writer and an editor, and he had total control over what I read. So, he'd go to this bookshop in Dalkey and bring me back, 30 or so second-hand books, and A Tale of Two Cities, and Oliver Twist, and A Christmas Carol, and all of the Dickens stuff. I had read pretty much at the age of 11 and 12, so they were always really clear in my mind, because when you're that age, a book takes you further away than anything else will. And I lived in Donegal, so I needed to be taken pretty far away.
And of course, Dickens had a heart and a soul, and would be regarded now, I suppose, as a socialist. His concern and his care and his worries were for the people, the less well off. It wasn't for the people. He didn't write just for those people who had the money and the money to buy his weekly pamphlets, but he was writing for those people, about the people who couldn't perhaps afford to buy the pamphlets. And in that way, he was, again, very much before his time, that a writer like that would have such concern, living in Southwark, incidentally where I lived for about 10 years, around that area, and seeing the poverty and writing and asking in his writing for people to look at the way they're treated. And that's something large for a writer to do, even now.
Belle, I think, held on to the very last moment. And she kept hoping that Ebenezer might actually come through. And having fallen in love with him at such an early age, and had this contract as such, this promise of marriage between the two of them, stayed faithful to him and the love of who he was. And realizing that he was getting more and more narrow-sighted towards the ever-piling amount of money in his bank, and not even knowing how to enjoy it, but actually putting her more and more to the side, she realizes what makes her happy, and it's not what he's offering anymore. So she takes the very brave decision to actually step away into a world at that time as being dowerless, which is quite a brave and daunting perspective, but she'd much rather the unknown than what he was offering as the known. My earliest recollection of A Christmas Carol would be my grandmother Bumble reading it to me when I was about my daughter's age, about 5.
Wow.
And something I am going to do for my daughter this Christmas. And it's a lovely story for kids because it's got magic and it's got, all those elements for adults as well. Massive life lessons. And it's nice and dark as well.